Reveal the teams that barely matter. Listen, these teams are still alive, but barely. The Vikings, Steelers, and Saints all suffered terrible losses this week. They're still alive, but they don't deserve any recognition past that. Let us in. That's the next tier. These teams would just desperately like to get in the playoffs. For the Ravens, how the mighty have fallen. They were the number 1 seed. Can we show? There we go. Let us in. They were the number 1 seed a few weeks ago. On the flip side, the Dolphins, they can't stop winning, nor can the Eagles. The Eagles competition hadn't been great. Raiders and Browns, sneaky still alive for both of them. Oh, I thought the Raiders were just an awful team. Oh, that's only when they played the Chiefs. All right, my kingdom for a quarterback. Any of these 4 teams, if they just had a quarterback, might be the Super Bowl favorite. Unfortunately, none of them do. So all of them have a defined, hard, not glass ceiling, concrete ceiling, and that ceiling is the second round of the playoffs. None of these teams with their current quarterback situation can get past round 2 with the small caveat of Trey Lance, maybe, I don't know. This next group of teams is in the exact opposite position. If they only had anything but a quarterback, they might be really good. If you could combine these 2 tiers, you would have some super teams. Bengals, Chargers, Cardinals. Now, let me tell you something, America. This is why you come to the tiers. These 3 teams are going to be misranked by everyone's power rankings. They've been misranked all year. People were too far down on the Bengals. Now they have them skyrocketing up because Joe Burrow's 500 yards. Bengals are good. They're not great. Chargers have one terrible game, and now folks are acting like they're not a terrifying team. They are. Now, they might miss the playoffs, but if they get in, they're terrifying. And the Cardinals. Folks had the Cardinals. Oh, they're the best team in football. No, they're not. Oh, my God, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. No, they're not. But now, people are going to act like the Cardinals are just abjectly terrible because they've been in a slump. Neither is true. They're a good, not a great team. They're going to be a dangerous first-round opponent for whomever the 4th seed in the NFC is. All right, now to the teams that are really good. Super Bowl or bust. Both of these teams, if they do anything other than reach the Super Bowl, they will feel like their season is a failure. The Bills got to the conference championship game last year, built the whole team around beating the team who beat them in the conference championship game last year, the Chiefs. They have to get a step further. And the Rams were in the divisional round last year and then traded away all their future drafts again for this year's team. If either of these teams don't end up in the final game of the year, it will feel like a failure. Unfortunately for them, the committee does not think either of them will because of the 4 teams above them. All right, truly terrifying. Both of these teams, for very different reasons, would terrify the Green Bay Packers, who we'll discuss in a minute. For the Cowboys, it's very simple. That Cowboys defense against a banged-up Packers offensive line, I think would cause real fear in Green Bay. And the Buccaneers, off reputation and memory from last season of what the Buccaneers did to the Packers, if they were to face again in Green Bay again, I think there's a little Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers flashbacks of what went bad last year. With that said, the Packers are still the number 1 contenders. The Chiefs are still the favorites. The committee does not love, Greg, how the Packers have played the last few weeks, particularly on the defensive end, letting Tyler Huntley score 30, then letting the Browns move the ball with such ease on the ground, even though Baker was trying to give the game away. But they won those games. The Chiefs, on the other hand, must have had a brilliant game this weekend because we haven't talked about them on the show at all. So the Chiefs played great. They don't make the show. So my guess is they must have played great. Since week 10, by the way, America, the Kansas City Chiefs, number 1 scoring offense, number 2 scoring defense. That will play, my friends. And if you're interested, why are you saying since week 10? Oh, that's every game they've played since the pass heard around the world. The 3rd and 10 against the Packers that changed the trajectory of the 2021 NFL season, as called by your guy, Nick Wright. Since then, the number 1 offense in the entire NFL to go along with number 2 defense. There are Week 17 tiers. Committee member emeritus Greg Jennings, what do you say?
You know, this has been an interesting year. And I like the tiers. And the reason why I like the tiers is because none of us really know where these teams are going to end up next week. We got teams that are that are saying, let us in. They may be winning a division pending a loss by teams above them. So it's exciting, number 1. But for me, I'm going to stick to my guns. The Packers have the best record in the National Football League. They're the favorites. I love what the Chiefs are doing. I love that they have become a complete team. And I think that's why you have them at your favorites in topping this tier off. But when I look at all of what you said, truly terrifying, you're absolutely correct. The Dallas Cowboys and what they displayed this past weekend with that defensive front, and we see what Michael Parsons is doing and what Diggs is doing in the secondary, they are a terrifying team for a team like the Green Bay Packers or anyone they may play down the stretch. But for me, the team that's most interesting and most intriguing is the Cincinnati Bengals, because they can be so electric on both sides of the ball. They can be a very complete team, and that's what this is going to be about. At the end of the day, when you look at these tiers, who's going to play complete football from these remaining 2 weeks? If the Cincinnati Bengals can play complete football for the remaining 2 weeks, they're the one team that I see moving up the tiers drastically, because they can strike fear in you offensively and they can get stops defensively as well. All the rest of the teams have a chance, but the Bengals are the team for me that I'm looking forward to seeing these last 2 weeks.
So here's the thing about the Bengals. I think the Bengals showed tremendous upside this weekend. I'm with you on that. With that said, the reason the committee is not quite as high on the Bengals as some in the moment is the Bengals are going to likely be fighting for their playoff lives in Week 18. Because this week they do play the Chiefs. And now, if they beat the Chiefs, then you must take them totally seriously as a contender. I don't think they will. And if they don't, as good as it looks for them right now, they will likely be in a win and you're in, lose and you're out entirely. That's how compacted the AFC North is. And I like Joe Burrow. I love their offense. I'm not a huge fan of Zach Taylor, and I think the defense can get got. So I'm very interested to see how the Bengals respond to some real expectations now over these next couple weeks. Now we'll see. Maybe they'll go beat Kansas City. Broussard, I assume if Kansas City beats them, then folks will start deciding the Bengals are also not a very good team. But we'll see how that goes. But I understand Greg's point on Broussard, or on the Bengals. But I think that they're going to be fighting for their lives in the final week of the year.
All right, Nick, I'm going to focus some on your titles, your captions. All right, my kingdom for a QB. Oh. How disrespectful. Just straight up disrespectful. The Indianapolis Colts should be on the truly terrifying tier. Now, I don't think they're as good as Tampa Bay and Dallas, but that title fits them because they are a dangerous team that I don't think anybody in the AFC really wants to face with that running game and as physical as they are. And Carson Wentz, the way Frank Reich is handling him and making him just the game manager has been great. He's got 6 interceptions. That's it. All right. So don't think of Carson Wentz in Philly. This is a different one. I know he can get wild sometimes, but Frank Reich's doing a great job. New England also should be up. I don't know what tier, because I don't know that they fit any of the titles, but they should be up a tier. And Jimmy G, you just continue to disrespect him. Second round is a cap. Well, he's been to a Super Bowl, so I don't think that's a cap necessarily. If he's healthy,
he's got broken
as
thumb.
Far,
what are you talking? He's not even playing. If he's healthy.
Well, no. If he gets healthy.
I mean, what are you talking about? if he's healthy, he's literally not healthy.
Now, let me move to your Super Bowl or bust. Buffalo should be in the hot and cold tier. Now, I don't mind them being, 6, 17, whatever they would be, 16. But they should be hot and cold. They're the epitome of hot and cold. They lost to Jacksonville, for goodness sake. Indianapolis beat them 41-15, for goodness sake. Against Tampa Bay, they were literally cold the first half and hot the second half. So they fit the hot and cold. So there's that. I don't have a big problem with the rest of it. But I just think some of the titles and captions aren't really fitting these clubs.
Well, not all of us were trained at the New York Times, in our writing skills. We're really just a ranking operation, and then we farm out the names and do our best. But maybe next year we will add a committee member, particularly for the writing portion of this. But we're just really into the rankings. The pros Wilds is not exactly what the committee specializes in.
It's fair. I have an announcement to make. Every once in a while, someone gets nominated for a Grammy, and then it's something they don't like their category. Say, you know what? Take me out. I don't want the Patriots on the tiers anymore. I want us off the tiers. If you're going to put us below, I don't want us on it. You can put us in a circle by the snowflake that you can just be like, ooh, no one wants to play. And we do not want to be part of the tiers. And here's why. I get it. The knives are out. We lost 2 games in a row. Everybody wants to slice us up. The Cardinals have lost 3 in a row. 1 to the Detroit Lions. The Chargers, who the Patriots have already beaten, lost 2 in a row. 1 to the Texans in practically a blowout. To have the Patriots underneath those 2 teams that are floundering because we lost 2 sneaky close games to the Colts and the Bills. We're not showing up to the ceremony. We don't want. Yeah, we were there. We were sneaky close. Not close. Close, sneaky close. That's where we're at. Sneaky close. Got to get some stops. Jonathan Taylor and Josh Allen are running. It hurts us. Sneaky close. We're not going to be on the tiers next week. We are going to be in the corner in a circle.
Well, you might not be.
Nobody wants to play.
I'll be honest with you.
That's my change.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah, we don't want to be.
Who do y'all play this week? What cupcake did the league give the Patriots to close the season as always? You got Jacksonville. I'll tell you. You know what, Wilds? Yeah. You lose to my thick-neck son, Trevor Lawrence. You're right. You won't be on the tiers. You'll be down in the muck with those teams that don't get named. I thought you'd be happy that I put you on the same tier as the Colts, even though the Colts kicked your teeth in for 55 minutes of football. But no, there's no pleasing you. You guys know, you all know that my kingdom for a quarterback tier is chef's kiss perfect. Because if any of those 4 teams had the quarterbacks
I agree.
of any of the 3 teams above them, they'd be the best team in football. They'd be the best team in football. If you had Burrow, Herbert, or Kyler on any of those 4 teams, the Chiefs would be worried. Instead, the Chiefs are just coasting, just hanging out, beating the Steelers 36-10 with no Travis Kelce. Tyreek basically didn't play. But no, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about the best team in football. No. So there it is. So, Wilds, you might get your wish. Trevor Lawrence comes through. I promise you, Patriots, they won't be on the tiers. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.